Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's class. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 20. It's a recorded lecture by Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles in 1973. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna.
वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्रील हृदयदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the Asmod. All glories to the Asmod. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena sakhyā priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ adhvany urukrama-parigraham aṅga rakṣan gopair asadbhir abaleva vinirjito asmi soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena sakhyā priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ sakhyā priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ adhvany urukrama-parigraham aṅga rakṣan rakṣan gopair asadbhir abaleva vinirjitosmi soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena sakhyā priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ adhvany urukrama-parigraham aṅga rakṣan gopair asadbhir abaleva vinirjitosmi soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena sakhyā priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ adhvany urukrama-parigraham aṅga rakṣan gopair asadbhir abaleva vinirjitosmi soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena priyeṇa suhṛdā hṛdayena śūnyaḥ adhvany urukrama-parigraham aṅga rakṣan gopair asadbhir Saha, that, aham, myself, nṛpendra, O Emperor, rahitaḥ, bereft of, puruṣottamena, by the Supreme Lord, sakhyā, by my friend, priyeṇa, by my dearmost, suhṛdā, by the well-wisher, hṛdayena, by the heart and soul, śūnyaḥ, vacant, adhvany, recently, urukrama-parigraham, the wives of the all-powerful, aṅga, bodies, rakṣan, while protecting, gopair, by the cowherds, asadbhir, by the infidels, abaleva, like a weak woman, vinirjito asmi, I have been defeated. Translation: O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherdsmen while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Kṛṣṇa.
So after departure of Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa's all the wives, 16,108, they were being taken care of by Arjuna. But some cowherdsmen, they plundered all the queens, and Arjuna could not protect them. And this is the instance that we may be very powerful. So long Kṛṣṇa keeps us powerful, we are not independently powerful. Even in the case of Arjuna, we are very much proud of our the janmaisajya sutasri, material world. Everyone is very much proud of his birth, riches, and education, and beauty. Beauty. These four things are obtained as a result of pious activities. And as a result of impious activities, the opposite number. Not birth in a very nice family or nation, no wealth, poverty, no education, and no beauty. But one should know that these assets, material assets, just like you American people, you have got nice assets. You are born of a very respectful nation. American nations are still honored all over the world. So that's a good opportunity for you. Janma, you are born in. Every American is, in comparison to India, every American is rich man. Because any ordinary man earns here at least 4,000, 5,000 rupees. In India, even the High Court judge, he cannot earn so much. At most 4,000. So, you should be conscious that by the grace of Kṛṣṇa you have got all these things. There is no poverty, there is no scarcity, there is good chance of education, and you are wealthy, beautiful, everything. Janmai sajja sutasri. But if you do not become Kṛṣṇa conscious, if you misuse these assets, then again punarmushika bhava. You know the story, punarmushika bhava? Anyone knows? Punarmushika bhava means again you become a mouse. A mouse came to a saintly person. Sir, I am very much troubled. What is that? People generally go to saintly person for some material profit. That is the nature, animalistic nature. Why you should go to a saintly person for some material benefit? No, you go there to learn what is God. That is real business. Anyway, saintly person sometimes receive. So what do you want? Just like Lord Shiva, his devotees are all like that, mouse. Want something. Sir, this cat troubles me very much. So what do you want? Then let me become a cat. All right, he become a cat. So he became a cat. Then after a few days, he came back. Sir, still I am in trouble. What is that? The dogs. They trouble us very much. So what do you want? Now I want to become a dog. All right, you become. Then after a few days, one after there is nature's arrangement. One is weak, one is strong. That is nature's arrangement. So after all, he wanted to become a tiger. So by the grace of the saintly person, he became a tiger. And when he became a tiger, he was staring on the saintly person like that. So the saintly person asked him, you want to eat me? Yes. Oh, then you again become a mouse. If by my grace, by my favor you have become tiger, so I again condemn you to become a mouse. So, you American people, you have become tiger now. Nixon tiger. But if you don't behave obligely, if you don't feel obliged, the tiger feels obliged, that by the grace of this saintly person, I have come to this stage of becoming a tiger, I must be very much obliged to him. But instead of becoming obliged, if you want to eat, then again become a mouse. If the saintly person has got the power to make you from mouse to tiger, then he can convert you again from tiger to mouse. You must always remember this. So by the grace of God, Kṛṣṇa, you have become so powerful, nation, rich, beautiful, educated, but grace of Kṛṣṇa you have become, but if you forget Kṛṣṇa, then you are again going to be mouse. Remember that. Nobody will care for you. Just like Englishmen. Englishmen, they established the British Empire, great powerful, most powerful nation in the world. And now they are not so, because they misuse their power. So you get power, opulence, by the grace of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And if you misuse it, then you become again, that is happening. That is the nature's law. Nature's law. So here, Arjuna, by his personal behavior, he is showing that without Kṛṣṇa, I was so great fighter that I took charge of the 16,000 wives of Kṛṣṇa to take them safely, because Kṛṣṇa passed away, so they must be given protection. He was Kṛṣṇa's friend, but he could not do so. All the queens were plundered by cowherdsmen. Therefore he says that gopair asadbhir. Cowherdsmen, they are not very powerful, or they are ordinary men, cowherdsmen. But Arjuna was Kshatriya, so powerful, so he was defeated by them. Therefore he is regretting that asadbhir. If I would have been defeated by another powerful person, that would have been glory. But I have been defeated by the cowherdsmen. You see. Asadbhir, they are not counted amongst gentlemen. Asadbhir, abaleva, abaleva. Abala is another name of the woman. Just like if somebody attacks a woman, any young man, when he has got 16 years old, he can attack any woman. But a woman, even though she is 16 years or 18 years or 20 years, he becomes immediately victim. So abaleva, even the woman is higher in age, still she cannot protect. Therefore woman requires protection. Woman requires protection. According to Vedic culture, woman has no independence because they cannot keep their independence. It is not possible. A 16-year-old boy can go safely all over the world, but a 16-year girl cannot. That is not possible. By nature they are weak, so they require protection. And until she reaches youthhood, she is protected by the father. As soon as she reaches youthhood, she is given to a young man, her husband, to give protection. And in the old days, she is protected by the elderly sons. This is the Vedic culture. There are three phases of life: childhood, youthhood and old age. So, because they are weak, in the Western countries, the women are given freedom like man, but that is unnatural. Unnatural. Therefore, these poor souls are being exploited by the other section. It is a great deficiency of the Western sociology. But the Vedic culture is different from this. Woman is not given independence, and generally one man marries more than one wife. That is Vedic culture. Just like Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa has 16,108. That is allowed. Kṛṣṇa was personality of Godhead. He could maintain his wife 16 million wives. That is not difficult for him. But even ordinary man, Kshatriyas especially, they used to marry more than one wife. Still, not only wife, but one wife, one princess is married, and along with her, 100, 200 maidservants. They will go with the king. Just like when Vasudeva was married with Devaki, some hundreds of maidservants was given. So, women, the conclusion is the women are weak. They should be given protection. They should not be ill-treated. Just like a father gives protection to the children, it does not mean it is ill-treatment. There is no question of, but protection. Otherwise, abaleva, they can be victimized by any man, powerful, because mind is powerful. So, soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena. We also require. Don't be proud because I am man, I don't require protection. Here it is said, Kṛṣṇa says, Arjuna says, puruṣottamena, so rahitaḥ. Now I have no protection. Arjuna was so great hero, still he required protection. Puruṣottamena. Purusha means enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is Kṛṣṇa. If he does not give protection, you cannot enjoy your life. That is not possible. Therefore Kṛṣṇa says, Kṛṣṇa is giving protection, but not as much as he wants to give you protection, because you deny to accept it. Because you deny to accept his protection, therefore he is giving protection to you as much as you want. And if you want full protection, then the condition is sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaj. Give up your own manufactured, concocted means of protection. You just surrender unto me and I will give you protection. Protection for what? Protection from sinful activities. We are victimized by our sinful activities due to ignorance. We do not know what to do, what not to do. Out of ignorance we do something and we become victimized by the laws of nature. But if you surrender to Kṛṣṇa, he will give you protection. He will never be victimized. He will never be victimized. Because Kṛṣṇa said, Tesang satadriyuktanang bhajatang priti purvakam buddhi yogam dadamitam jena mam upajant. Kṛṣṇa will guide you. Kṛṣṇa is within yourself and he can speak to you. You can hear him also, provided you are fully surrendered. Though it does not mean that Arjuna was not fully surrendered. Arjuna was fully surrendered and Arjuna was fully protected by Kṛṣṇa. Neither these queens, 16,000 queens, could be plundered away by some cowherdsman. But it is an instance that even a person like Arjuna, he will be helpless without Kṛṣṇa. He will be helpless. What to speak of ourselves? He will be helpless. That is it. He is showing that example. Kṛṣṇa, soham nṛpendra rahitaḥ puruṣottamena. Now I am bereft of the association of my dearest friend, Kṛṣṇa. Sakhyā. Sakhyā means friend. Sakhyā. Priyeṇa. Not only friend, very dear friend. Priyeṇa. Suhṛdā. Suhṛdā means sweet. There are different kinds of friends. But sweet is a friend who always think of his friend, how he will be happy. That is called sweet. This description is given about the devotees also. śūnyaḥ sarvabhutānām. A devotee is always thinking how whole world will be happy. śūnyaḥ sarva. Not only human being, but animals, birds, trees, beasts, everyone. A devotee does not like to see even a grass is unreasonably cut. That is devotee business. That is therefore Vaishnava. What is that? Vaishnavana. Vaishnava is happy. Just like say, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said, Prahlad Maharaj was praying Lord Nrsimhadev to pacify him. So the commentator says that Prahlad Maharaj might have been very much afraid of this ferocious feature of the Lord Nrsimhadev. So he assured Nrsimhadev, my dear Lord, don't think that I am afraid of your this feature. No. Naivad vijay. Neither I am afraid of this materialistic existence. Naivad vijay paradurattaya vaitaranya. Tad vijja gayana maha mritamagna chitta. I am quite confident that I have no fear. And he has practically seen that his father teased him in so many ways, but at last he was protected. So why he should not believe? He knows that I have dedicated my life to Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa is not so ungrateful that he will not give me protection. How it is possible? But one who does not believe in Kṛṣṇa, he thinks that he will protect himself. Apashyatāmatmadattam grihishu griyamedina. Those who are not God realized, they think that they will be protected by their society, friendship, love, country, nation, like that. But that is not possible. Just like you are flying in the sky, so many aeroplanes at a time, sometimes in a bunch, in a group they fly. But if one of the aeroplane is in danger, no other aeroplane can help. It finished. So similarly, we are also flying as aeroplane in the open sky. The protection, you don't expect protection from your so-called society, friendship and love, materially. When there is question of danger, you have to protect with your own strength. Therefore, if we want actually protection, we should take protection of the Supreme, Kṛṣṇa or his devotee. Kṛṣṇa is śrīdam sarvabhūtānam. Kṛṣṇa says in the Bhagavad Gita, bhoktāram jagatavasam sarvalokamayassaram śrīdam sarvabhūtānam. I am the friend of everyone. He can become friend, he is living within our heart as friend. But we refuse the guidance of such a nice friend. That is our misfortune. Kṛṣṇa is so kind, so friendly, that you are just like one bird is flying from one tree to another, and another bird is following him. So similarly, we are flying from one body to another. Tatha dehantara prapti. And Kṛṣṇa does not leave us. He also going with you, just to give you guidance. But we won't give. Just like father, it is very natural. Father naturally wants to guide the son without any motive. That is father's nature. Similarly, Kṛṣṇa or God, the Supreme Father, is naturally inclined to give us protection. Naturally. Therefore he comes. Kṛṣṇa comes. Yada yada hi dearmost glani bhavati. Paritrāṇāya sadhūnā vināṣāya ca duskita. Kṛṣṇa does two business. First of all, preaching these rascals who have forgotten Kṛṣṇa, that we are very intimately related. I am the father of all living entities. So you come to me, come to home, you will be happy. I am not poor, I can provide you with all necessities. Eko jo bahunam vidudhati kama. That one can provide everyone with necessities of life. actually he is doing what government is doing for the cats and dogs and the ants and the trees. They are not doing anything, rather they are cutting. When there is jungle, for their paper mill, they are cutting all the trees. No protection for the trees. They are all cutting all the throats of the cows and animals for eating. So the government cannot give protection. Nobody can give protection. Only Kṛṣṇa can give protection. Therefore, we should always seek the protection of Kṛṣṇa. That is our security, not any other thing. So sweet means, Kṛṣṇa is sweet. Sweet means who always, trying for our welfare. He comes himself. And even though he cannot, we do not accept. Kṛṣṇa said, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam manmana bhavad bhaktavad jaji mang namaskuru. He gives plain advice that you always think of me, become my devotee, offer your respect, obeisances unto me, that will make your life perfect. But we shall not do that. We shall not do that. We shall think of so many other things, but we will never accept thinking of Kṛṣṇa. We shall become devotees of so many rascals, even of a dog also, but we shall never become devotee of Kṛṣṇa. This is the position. We are devotee, our master, to our wife, to our children, to our country, to our society. But as soon as you say that you become devotee of Kṛṣṇa, he is enraged immediately. What nonsense you are speaking. I have got so many work to do. Why shall I become devotee of Kṛṣṇa? This is the disease. This is the disease. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa ultimately says that you give up all this nonsense, and if you surrender unto me, then I shall give you protection. Naturally, just like we are preaching Kṛṣṇa consciousness. We are not devotee to the people in general, then why you are preaching? We are devotee. We are actually devotee, without any motive. Any so-called political leader, he has got some motive when he becomes devotee of the nation. He has got some motive. But we have no such motive. We simply say plainly that you become happy by becoming devotee of Kṛṣṇa. You are now devotee of your lust, anger, and illusion. You have become devotee of so many things, rascaldom. You simply become devotee of Kṛṣṇa. Then your problems will be solved. Kāmadināṁ kotidhāna kotidhā pālita dunnidesa. We are devotee somebody, but we are not devotee of somebody. We have got some motive. Just like now it is coming to exposure. So many leaders, they got election, pretending themselves devotee of the nation. In everywhere, not only in your country. But actually they are not devotee of the nation. They were devotee of their own lusty desires. That's all. That if I occupy this post, then I shall be able to fulfill my lusty desires. Nobody is devotee. Devotion is only applicable to Kṛṣṇa. If somebody is proclaiming himself that I am devotee, servant of my nation, of my society, of my wife, of my children, all false. Here, nobody is devotee. Everyone has got some motive. Even the intimate relationship between husband and wife, there is some motive. The husband has got some motive and the wife has got. As soon as the motive is not fulfilled, divorce. No one. No. Take another chapter. This is going on, you see. This is going on, and therefore, in the name of devotion, in the name of love, in the name of faith, they are trying to satisfy their own senses. This is called illusion. And he will never be happy so long he will try to satisfy his senses. And that is the truth. They will never be happy. Because I have given this example, the parts and parcel of your body, if separately the part and parcel of the body wants to satisfy itself, it will never be satisfied. The only means of satisfaction is that the part and parcel conjointly work and satisfy the stomach, and then it will be satisfied. Similarly, we are part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. If we want to satisfy ourselves, our senses independently, we shall never be satisfied. This is the fact. You have to satisfy Kṛṣṇa, and then you will be satisfied. This is the process. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Rucchate. Because actually the owner is Kṛṣṇa. I am claiming this is my hand. It is not my hand. It is Kṛṣṇa's hand. He has given us to use it. So if I don't use it for Kṛṣṇa, then it will be criminal. It will be criminal. Jajñārthe karmannatro lokayam karma bandhana. Simply for Kṛṣṇa you have to work. And if you work for your sense gratification, then you will be entangled. This is called karma bandha. You will be entangled more and more. Jāvat mano vai karmanusakta tāvat namanchate deha bandha. So long you will be, I mean to say, sense-gratifying minded, because everyone's mind is absorbed in the thought of gratifying his own senses. So long we shall be absorbed in this type of thoughts, then we have to accept a body. Either human body or other bodies. There are 8,400,000 different types of forms and body. So we have got different types of desires also, because we are prakriti-kriyamanani gunai-karmani sarvasa. We are under the modes of material nature, and the material nature has got the modes, different modes, goodness, passion and ignorance. You mix up these three into 3, it becomes 9, 9 into 9, it becomes 81, 81 and 20, it increases. It increases. Therefore we see so many varieties of life according to the mentality. So if we work on according to the dictation of the mind, then we become entangled. And if we work under the direct dictation of Kṛṣṇa, then we become free. This is the process of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. And as you well know, there's so much to pick from it, so much to have a good understanding about spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada's examples are absolutely wonderful. You just really get to the point and make it very simple to understand. Dearmost, this is a time where you have to join in a conversation. You can unmute yourself and share some of the realizations from what you've heard in Srila Prabhupada's lecture. If you don't mind, Vishnugadap, we'll be safe on humble obeisances. Oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada. Maybe you can kick us off with some comments from you. Hare Krishna.
You just got mine. How about we hear from you first today? Yes.
I usually did quite a few notes, but okay, I'll start to say some of the things that I picked up. I had to give, that's why etiquette is concerned. That's why I call you first. But Srila Prabhupada talked about good karma bringing good birth, riches, education, and beauty. And if you misuse that, then punamashika bhava. He taught the mouse. The story of the mouse that went to the saintly person, talking about being bothered by the cat, and he wanted to be a cat. And the mouse was granted the body of a cat. And then he came back later and said, the dog is actually bothering me, so I want to be a dog. the saintly person was kind enough to put him in a dog body. Then later, he realized tigers can also attack dogs, so he came back wanting to be a tiger. And then saintly person said, all right, you can become a tiger. Then when he became a tiger, now he's looking at the saintly person like he's a meal that he can actually kill the saintly person and eat the saintly person. Saintly person knew what was going on. He asked, you want to eat me? Tiger said, yes. And the saintly person, but then you become a mouse again. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that if the saintly person has the power to make the mouse a tiger, he can also make a tiger back to mouse. Therefore, he was warning this country, and for that matter, others that are rich countries that are just satisfying their senses, want to do things selfishly, that if we abuse that boom that we have as a country, then we'll go down. And he gave the British Empire. This is true. British Empire went around, they colonized so many countries around the world. And what happened? From the abuse and from stealing and so many other things that were negative that they did in different countries, in the end, they lost all of them. They didn't even see it coming. Kṛṣṇa would take it away. And now they're just right back to being a mouse again. So he warned about it. That's some of the, at least part of the notes that I put down for this lecture. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Unless Vishnugadapur, you want to jump in now?
Let's hear from other devotees first. I don't want to. I have stuff to say, but let's hear.
Yeah.
Maybe dear Krishna Prabhu, others. Mother Anasuya might have something to say.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, service to Prabhupada, and to all the devotees on the call. Prabhu, I have a question, actually. As I was listening to the lecture and driving back from the temple, Prabhupada mentioned the word protection over and over and over again. And what is coming to my mind, Prabhu, is, the point that I'm thinking that Srila Prabhupada said is, we surrender to the Lord and the Lord will protect us. So my question, Prabhu, and what's coming is, that in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, he was a pure devotee of the Lord, and he was protected from all harms and danger and threats from his own father, who was a demon. So my question, Prabhu, as devotees, because we are not at the level of Prahlad Maharaj and we are not pure devotees, sometimes people think, okay, Kṛṣṇa, you're going to protect me. I surrender, but how can we see protection not in the form of, okay, everything is going to be hunky-dory, it's going to be the way it is, and Kṛṣṇa will keep protecting me? Or because sometimes, Prabhu, we do, go through material challenges, ups and downs. How can one see that as Kṛṣṇa's protection? I think is what I'm trying to get to, when the bad things happen to us, lack of a better word.
What do you say, Parikshit Prabhu? You're muted.
When bad things happen to us, one or two things.
Kṛṣṇa's protection.
Say it again, sorry.
How to see it as Kṛṣṇa's protection? Because see, someone can say, okay, Kṛṣṇa, I surrender, I give you everything, please protect me. But we expect everything to go smooth. When there's a hiccup, then we'll say, Kṛṣṇa, but you said you'll protect me. So I'm just trying to understand is how can we help that, how can we develop that consciousness or that understanding that, Kṛṣṇa's protection is there, whether it's a bumpy road or a smooth road.
Kṛṣṇa always gives protection. But there are other reasons why sometimes things like that happen. We can get protection, full protection, and nothing ever would happen to us. That's there. But if we do that, if he does that, will we go back to Godhead though? We're going to take these breadcrumbs and live based on the breadcrumbs when there's a whole decorated cake in the spiritual world, and we won't go for that because we'll get, satisfied with just being here in this prison. There are people who are like that. They get so used to the prison, we talk about regularly now. The prison here in this material world, sometimes when they are let out of prison, they go commit another crime just so they'll be put back in prison and live that prison life. There are people who are like that. So we should see sometimes the reversals that come into our life as a chance, was Kṛṣṇa telling us, yes, I'll give you protection, but you are in the material world and this is no place to be. And the reversals remind us of the need to get out of the material world. That's one way of looking at it. Other times too, Kṛṣṇa actually has given protection, but there's just a few things that we've done in this lifetime, or maybe many things that are wrong things, but we still believe in Kṛṣṇa and we're trying to surrender to Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa gives us token reprisal or token chastisement to deal with that, because Kṛṣṇa actually wants us to go back home, but we are not doing things properly, and therefore sometimes there has to be a little slap of the wrist, as you know, to take care of the things that we've done wrongly, so that we'll be released to go back to Godhead. That's also another issue, another way which the reversals can be looked at. But in general, no matter what happens, Kṛṣṇa says, "Name bhakta vinashati, me bhakta pranashati kuntiya patijanihi," in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. Declare it, Arjuna, that my devotee will never perish. So no devotee that goes through reversals will be down and out. That never happens. There's some lessons to learn from. That's all. If you look at the lessons, and you will see that something good has come out of it, that sometimes we can even use later on to counsel somebody because of reversals that we went through and got used to what it feels like when you're going through, actually be in a better position to tell somebody who's going through a similar problem how to get out of it. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, questions?
One thing about that, following what you're saying, is that when Srila Prabhupada was talking about protection, he clarified that that protection was to keep a person, a devotee, free from involvement in sinful activities. Notice that?
Yeah. More than once.
That was a very interesting point, because you could say, well, Krishna protects his devotees. Well, what about Parikshit Maharaj? He was a devotee, much better devotee than me, but he got cursed to be bitten by a snake bird in 7 days. So what's up with that? So if we take it that, of course, if we take it that that protection is primarily your physical form, then it doesn't compute. But Prabhupada was clarifying that the protection is primarily your spiritual development. And also, it often is true that your physical body is also given protection, but sometimes not. Like Parikshit Maharaj, like Devaki and Vasudeva, they were in the prison house, even though they're the father and mother of Kṛṣṇa, still they were thrown in jail and shackled. And the Pandavas were exiled to the forest. They're the best friends of Kṛṣṇa, intimate friends of Lord Kṛṣṇa. How can they be kicked out of their position and exiled and it wasn't just an overnight camping. It was 12 years and a 1 year incognito also. So to get a clearer picture of what that protection would be is protection from being involved in activities and sinful reactions that will destroy your spiritual advancement was one clarification. And that's not that Krishna doesn't protect a devotee physically, like with Prahlad Maharaj. Although he was tortured, he wasn't injured in those torturings. So you can also sometimes includes, but it's not necessarily exclusively your physical body.
Thank you very much for making that point. It's very important. After all, it's the spiritual that is most important. We're trying to get living a life by the mercy of the spiritual master to get the soul released from the body. So things that give protection ultimately to the soul so that it doesn't get stuck here in the material world. Life after life is actually the best protection, which is exactly you explained. Srila Prabhupada said. Hare
An
Krishna.
interesting point also is that I've been listening to our on Wednesdays the Prabhupada lectures, usually Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's interesting. Srila Prabhupada in the morning generally, at least in the recordings we hear, doesn't chant Mangalacharan verses before speaking. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, he does not. Yeah.
And my recollection is that usually he did those Mangalacharan verses in the evening time when he spoke, but not the morning time. So that's very interesting. Yeah. And then there was other things about, that Prabhupada was talking about in the Vedic culture, people were marrying more than one wife, oftentimes. So
Yeah.
you could say, well, so in ISKCON, how come we're not marrying more than one wife if we want to follow Vedic culture? What do you think about that?
That's probably over my pay grade in terms of answering that question.
What's that? What's that?
That's over my head. That's why we haven't made that decision, allowing it. I don't know whether all countries allow that kind of marriage to polygamy. I don't know now. Sri Prabhupada said, at least Harishchandra Prabhu was mentioning that Sri Prabhupada said that in every country, devotees must obey the letter of the law. So he didn't want ISKCON to be doing things against what the laws of that particular country, since we're an international society, that particular country has put forth. So I'm not sure when it comes, I don't want to be speculating when it comes to a situation of marriage, what's allowed in different countries. Some countries may allow one, some countries may allow more than one. And right now, ISKCON is playing it safe, if I could speculate and say, by saying just one. You can't go wrong with just one woman, one wife, one husband.
Well,
But yeah,
in India and other countries, it's still not illegal to have more than one wife. So it used to be when the life membership program started, it was to become a life member, an ISKCON life member, a person could pay 1,111 rupees in the United States. I mean, sorry, dollars in the United States, or 1,111 rupees in India. And of course, the difference, 1,111 rupees was much less than $1,111. So it's quite frequent that people would go to India just to become life members because it was cheaper. You follow? So somebody said, well, in the United States, having more than one wife it's called polygamy, isn't it? It's polygamy or bigamy. Yeah. So we could go to India. If it's allowed in India, we'll just go to India and have more than one wife there. How's that? What do you think? What did Srila Prabhupada do? What did Srila Prabhupada do?
The whole point of, okay, go ahead, yeah.
Srila Prabhupada, he got married, when he was like around 20, 24, something like that. And then he was thinking about marrying a second wife.
Yes.
Remember this?
Yes, his father discouraged him.
His father said, "My dear son, this will," yeah. And he appreciated his father for that advice. So in the Vedic culture, it might be prevalent, but in ISKCON, Prabhupada discouraged it, not just because of the legalities, but because of if you want to expand our material attachments, that's not going to be good for your spiritual life.
Yeah.
That's the primary thing. And some devotees quoting this kind of talk would say, oh, Prabhupada said we should marry, it's okay to marry more than one wife. But Prabhupada discouraged it when asked directly, should devotees in ISKCON could do that. Not that it can't be done in the greater society in whatever country, but in ISKCON, it's not recommended, no. There was one devotee who was the president of Fiji. His name was Vasudev. And he actually became a GBC, and he had two wives. is a Gujarati businessman, and he built a temple in Fiji. But he had those 2 wives before he joined ISKCON already. So Prabhupada didn't say give up one wife or anything like that. And of course, there's always the question of serial polygamy as opposed to, but that's a whole other question.
Yeah. It's not so easy for the women, though, if they have co-wives like that, to try to, not be envious, or all those kind of feelings that come in sometimes when the man favors one wife over another, or at least the other one is given the perception that she's not being favored that much, like the situation with the Uttanapat, and his two wives.
So it's difficult for the men and difficult for the women. It's not ideal for progress in spiritual life, right?
Yeah. Suniti and Suruchi. This is Suruchi.
Actually, I remember a quote that years ago that someone asked Bhaktivedanta Swami the same question. This was like probably in the 90s or early 2000s. And he said that, nobody can be like Arjuna, something related with Arjun having 4 wives at that time. That was a lecture. And someone asked that question, why is that not practiced? And he made a joke. He says, we can't even keep one wife happy and keep peace in the house. What is be? And the man cannot support one wife. How can he support 2 wives? Because we are not Arjuns. We're not powerful like that. That's one comment that I remember Bhaktivedanta Swami said years ago.
Good point.
Yeah, but
Good point.
Even in the case of Arjun, Draupadi was not so happy. when Subhadra came as the next wife, Draupadi wasn't happy about that. So anyway,
she had 4 other husbands.
Yeah, but she still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
It's like almost opening a can of worms. But anyway, hey, things are unfolding based on Krishna's plans anyway. So that there's so many plans behind it. Because after all, it was Krishna that even encouraged Arjuna to marry Subhadra because of what was going to happen in the war and everything. Krishna knew the future. Actually, he was controlling the future. So his devotees are surrendered. But yeah, now in Kalgiga, one wife's better. And that's the way it is.
At one point in the purport of this verse, that those cowherd men were not ordinary cowherd men. Some of the wives of Kṛṣṇa were demigoddesses who then came to the earth and became wives of Kṛṣṇa, and they offended a sage at some point, and he cursed them that they would be kidnapped by some infidels, and then they begged for his forgiveness, and he said, "Okay, but you'll still remain the husband of Kṛṣṇa, and that people, those infidels, will actually be not just ordinary coward, but they're Kṛṣṇa. They're coming as Kṛṣṇa." So Kṛṣṇa came and as those cowherd men and took away his wives. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commented like that. And as Prabhupada mentioned, this is to help us remember the fact that without Krishna's support, whatever our position is, whatever our powerful or opulent position, it can be taken away in a moment without giving proper oblige to Lord Krishna. So that's our business in the Hare Krishna movement, to try to remember that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your comment. Are there anyone else that wants to comment more? I could just add one more, that Prabhupada making a point about women requiring protection. That a 16-year-old boy can go all over the world, but a 16-year-old girl may have difficulty doing that. Not that she can't go, but her life could be in danger, where people, a same age boy can do that without people worrying about him being in danger. Women are generally physically weaker, so he also mentioned in the Western countries, women are given the same freedom as men, and now they're being exploited. And in other lectures, he's actually gone into details to explain how women have been exploited by men based on what's called women's liberation. He's talked about that also, not in this lecture, but in another one, which he proved it. Anyway.
That's a very interesting point because, Srila Prabhupada speaking from a Vedic standpoint, and in the Vedic, we have at least I do, I have a picture of like the Vedic system. The people were pretty much pious and following the rules of Vedic culture. But even in that situation, still the women were subject to exploitation. Even in that situation, what to speak of today. So even, in a relatively, compared to our culture today, relatively ideal situation, there was danger. What to speak of today. And of course, nowadays, the people will take other avenues of protection. They'll keep a gun on their person, or keep pepper spray to protect them. But usually that goes off in different ways and problems too. But still, so the basic point is the same, that there's exploitation is much more prevalent if a person isn't protected or a woman isn't protected. And ultimately the protection is surrender to Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah. He said that's for everybody. Even making the point that the government does not give protection to all living entities, especially the ones in non-human bodies. The government does not give that kind of protection. But Kṛṣṇa protects everyone. So it's best to be surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, then we'll be happier. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Any other comments? If not, then we'd like to thank all of you for coming on. You're here. It increase our education, understanding of things by listening to lectures, especially lectures by Srila Prabhupada. So have a nice, wonderful rest of your week. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sundibhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Jai.